Okay, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Embry, and I am the brand ambassador at Travel Media Group. I want to first thank everyone for taking the time to join me on this webinar this afternoon. I am super excited to share this presentation with you all. We had an overwhelming response to the amount of people registered for this topic, so super excited. At the end of this webinar today, I will be providing my direct contact information in case you had any sort of follow-up questions with the content that I'm going to be sharing. And you can also use the chat feature, which is located in your toolbar to type any sort of questions or feedback. I will be responding to those questions personally following the conclusion of today's webinar. Also, be on the lookout since today's presentation will feature an interactive poll and would absolutely love your participation in it. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to challenge you on the way that you are looking at your negative reviews online. Right now, at this very moment, there are more reviews online than ever before in the history of hotels, and your guest expectations of how these reviews should be handled is ever evolving. The days of a simple apology in response to a negative review are long gone. Today's traveler in 2019 requires acknowledgement, empathy, resolution, and sometimes even compensation. So how do you navigate the tricky waters of not only responding to a negative review, but resolving the bigger issue? Well, what better way to start this presentation than looking at a freshly written and posted negative review online? And as I read the following review, I want you to think about how you would respond to this review if a traveler had written this about your hotel and you were responding directly to them. The review reads, "This hotel was not a very nice place to stay. The first room they gave us, air conditioning didn't work, so they decided to move us to another room and the toilet doesn't flush. Also, a problem that we had at this hotel was that it was very hard to find a place to park. Most of their parking area is not lit. It's very dark. Makes it very unsafe for the guests who are staying there. The first night, we thought we would take a dip in the pool, but the pool looked like it had not been cleaned in a while. So overall, I would not recommend this hotel to anyone. There's much better places to stay on the same road who offer the same shuttle service to the airport." Now, for some on this call that are regularly responding to reviews, I'm sure the blood pressure is already starting to rise and the defensive wall is coming up. You see a review posted like this, publicly degrading your business, criticizing the job that you did for them, and see them openly encouraging other travelers to stay with your competition. The basic human response is to get angry and defensive. But as veterans in the hotel industry, you know better than responding in that manner. And more often than not, you take the road of customer service and hospitality first in your response. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on how emotionally and mentally exhausting that must be over the course of time. Getting upset, frustrated, worked up after reading a review like this and having to come back down to a place of hospitality and customer service. So how do you ensure that this mental review roller coaster does not negatively impact your response to your guests or your productivity as an individual contributor at your hotel? For that, let's look at this review in another way. In this exercise, we're going to take Robert and his negative review out from behind his phone or computer where he wrote this bad review and place him right back in the hotel at the front desk. At checkout, you ask Robert how was his stay, and he responds word for word what he wrote online. But instead of writing it, he says it out loud to you at the front desk. How do you respond there? What would you do or attempt to do to make it better? Did you respond the same way that you did to his review online? Guests are constantly leaving you verbal reviews throughout their stay, so why are you treating their online reviews any different? Now, for those on the call that don't respond to their reviews at all, I want you to imagine how upset Robert would be if after he told you all of these issues he'd encountered during the stay and you did not say a single word. No apology, no attempt to make it better, just silence. Now, it sounds ridiculous in a real-life situation, but when we don't respond to reviews online, we're doing the exact same thing. The major difference is that your silent response doesn't just stay between you and Robert at the front desk. It's online, it's public for the world to see and hear. Now, what about the hotels on this call that only respond to some or a majority of the reviews online? Well, that's like being at the front desk and only addressing and responding to a portion of the people that are telling you how their stay was. Or even the hotel that always responds with the same "thank you for your feedback" or templated response. To those guests in a real-life conversation, you at the front desk would come across as cold and robotic if you responded to travelers like that. It sounds obvious when you're picturing a guest in front of you, yet there are still some hotels that respond to online reviews this way. Now, what if your hotel's philosophy is, "I only respond to the negative reviews online"? Well, how does that look if you had the same philosophy at your front desk? You're only addressing the people that came up to the front desk to complain? What about the traveler that has some positive feedback to say about your hotel? They don't deserve a response as well? And what incentive does that give other guests to leave positive reviews online if they're only seeing you, the hotel, responding to the negative ones? That is why responding to all online reviews is paramount to a hotel's reputation, but it's responding to the negative ones that can sometimes be the most difficult to navigate. So let's explore a couple steps to help get you in the right mindset so that you can effectively respond to these negative reviews online. And the first step is to adapt your viewpoint when you're initially reading that negative feedback. Instead of viewing your conversation as a online one-on-one with the traveler, imagine that guest at your front desk. Next, imagine every traveler that is considering staying at your hotel is listening to the conversation that you're having with that guest. If you knew potential business and revenue was listening to your response to this guest at your front desk, what would you say to make sure that not only your message addressed the concern of the traveler in front of you, but also assured those listening that they should choose your hotel instead of your competition? And this is what happens every day when we respond to reviews online. Hoteliers sometimes forget that when we respond to an individual online, that guest only reads your response once. Meanwhile, hundreds, sometimes thousands of potential travelers will be reading that same response and basing that response on whether they choose you or the hotel next door. So that being said, hoteliers need to stop thinking about negative reviews as personal attacks and start thinking about them as opportunities, because negative reviews plus the right response equals an opportunity for your hotel. And in today's webinar, we are going to do an exercise where we are going to look at several real-life negative review examples, and we are going to take a look at how our professional review response team transformed these negative reviews into an opportunity to do the following: market your hotel, explain your hotel's policies, demonstrate superior customer service, and lastly, showcase problem-solving abilities. Now, the first opportunity that an online negative review can create is a chance to actually market your hotel. It is a fact that 65% of travelers are more likely to book a hotel that responds to online reviews. So with more than half of travelers looking and basing their booking decision on review response, this gives hoteliers a unique opportunity to get travelers' eyes on their hotel, even if it's in response to a negative review. Let's look at an example of what I mean. So here is a 2-star review written on Google recently, and it reads, "Nice, but under construction. Wait till remodel is done. Great location." These short, non-detailed reviews are sometimes the most frustrating for hoteliers. Even with just 3 short sentences, this 2-star review holds just as much weight to a hotel's overall reputation score than any other review. And this can also be extremely tough to respond to, with such little detail being mentioned within the review. So how can we transform this negative review online into an opportunity to market your hotel? Well, let's take a look at how our professional review response team at Travel Media Group responded. And it reads, "Dear Karen, we appreciate you staying with us and taking the time to leave us a review. It's great to know that our location was ideal for your visit. Thank you for the patience while we improve the property for everyone's continued enjoyment, and we look forward to hosting you again when the work is complete." So, after thanking the guests for their feedback, our team focuses on the positive sentiment within this negative review, promoting its incredible location to other travelers that might be potentially reading this response. Next, the responder also takes a negative element of the review, which is the construction and renovation, and speaks to it instead as an opportunity to tell other guests about the improvements and upgrades that this property will feature soon. So in response to a short 3-sentence negative review, our response has been able to market both the property's incredible location as well as promote its exciting upcoming renovations and upgrades. You wouldn't think that there's a possibility to do that with such a short review and such a low star rating. Now, another opportunity that a negative review can present is an opportunity to explain your hotel's policies. In fact, 87% of guests say that an appropriate response to a bad review improves their impression of the hotel. This statistic should excite every hotelier on this call that battles negative reviews that deal with simple hotel policies. This stat simply means that almost 9 out of every 10 travelers are not going to punish you when you properly explain a policy at your hotel. Yet, there are some hoteliers that instead take a combative approach when responding to a review like this and never fully explain what the hotel policy actually is, which leaves the guest that left that review upset and the travelers reading the review unsatisfied with the hotel's response and the way they handled it. Let's take a look at another example for that. Now, this is a 2-star review left on TripAdvisor, and it reads, "Spent a weekend with family where I was charged twice for a room. Contacted hotel, was put on hold for a long time before being hung up on. Manager failed to cancel double charge as promised and failed to call me back on status. Attempted to contact him with no success. Watch your money, pay cash, or go somewhere else." Now, this is one of the most common hotel policies that our professional writing team comes across when responding to these negative reviews. It's super frustrating to hoteliers that a simple misunderstanding to a well-known hotel policy can severely hurt a hotel's overall reputation score, especially on a site like TripAdvisor. So, how do we mitigate the damage that is done with this type of review and respond in a way that is both appropriate to the guest leaving the review, but also satisfying to the traveler reading the response? For that, let's take a look at our team's response to this review. We appreciate you taking a moment to share some feedback. However, as it was explained to you during your stay, your credit card did not receive a charge, but rather an authorization. This is a common hotel procedure put in place to ensure each guest has a valid reservation the day of their arrival. Once a guest arrives, they may choose to use a different method of payment to pay for their room. Our team strives to deliver friendly and helpful service at all times, and we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience you experience. So we start our response by always thanking the guests for their feedback, which encourages more feedback from other guests, as well as showing our gratitude to the travelers that are reading the response. Next, we politely explain the hotel's policy and actually go into outlining why this policy is put in place. We even provide alternative and solutions to help accommodate. View these negative reviews as an opportunity to explain your hotel's policies in an attempt to educate future travelers and set expectations for when they stay with you. Pet policies, resort fees, amenity rules, these are all examples of where you can turn that negative review into an opportunity to explain your hotel policies. Now, the next opportunity that can come from a negative review is to really highlight and demonstrate your hotel's superior customer service. We know that there are a lot of variables that go into a hotel guest stay at your property, and one of the few aspects that a hotelier can control is the way that their guests are treated by your staff. In fact, 78% of guests say that managers who respond to reviews care more about their guests. Hospitality and customer service are at the foundation of the hotel industry. When we as hoteliers read a negative review, we have a tendency to assume that everything about that guest stay was negative, including the customer service that they received. Find ways to demonstrate your hotel's superior customer service through your review response. For that, let's take a look at an example. This is another 2-star online review, this time from booking.com, and it reads, "Staff was super nice, room was in not good condition, should have cost half of what I paid. So in this example, we see another super short but very impactful negative review. Our first instinct when we see that 2-star rating is to only address and respond to the negative aspects of this review, or in this case, the room. Instead, our professional team focuses their response on the positive comments pertaining to the staff at the hotel. Our response reads, "We believe in the power of making a good first impression, and it's a delight to know our friendly staff could be a highlight of your stay. However, we do apologize that your room didn't live up to your expectations. Our maintenance team will be asked to investigate your concerns to ensure the room is in peak condition for future guests. It will be an honor to earn another chance to impress you with the relaxing experience you deserve, along with the quality customer service you already received." So as you can see in the response, we do address the room and even add some extra precautions that we've taken for future travelers' peace of mind, but we really focus our response on the hotel's customer service. Now, if you read this response with no context of the actual review or saw the 2-star rating that I showed you, based on this type of response, you would think the guest enjoyed the majority of their stay and might have even rated their experience a 3 or a 4-star. That is the power of a well-crafted online review response. Take these reviews as an opportunity to really concentrate on the positive of your guest stay and the service that you could provide to fix it, instead of dwelling and only addressing negatives within that star rating review. So the last and final goes hand in hand with demonstrating the superior customer service, and that is showcasing your hotel's ability to problem solve. Another fact regarding traveler tendencies when it comes to online reviews is that 80% of travelers read 6 to 12 online reviews before making a decision. This stat, pretty incredible, and it proves a couple things. One, travelers are looking for a bigger sample size than just a few reviews. So one single negative review is not going to kill your business. And two, with a larger sample size, you have more opportunity to showcase what lengths you are willing to go to for your guest. This is extremely critical when it comes to responding to negative reviews and giving future guests peace of mind before they stay at your property. So let's look at an example here. This 1-star Google review is not only short, but it includes the ever-dreaded dangerous phrase, bed bugs. And with very little context, but potentially a whole lot of impact on hotel's future business, this review is a great opportunity to showcase how this property handles its issues. So our team responds, "Thank you for leaving us with your comments on your recent visit. It is unfortunate to hear your concerns, especially as we consider any report regarding unwanted pests to be very serious. As soon as we receive any notification from a guest regarding pests, we like to take immediate action, and we were able to swiftly contact our pest control services to conduct a full inspection of your room as well as the neighboring rooms. Though there was no evidence of pests found in any of our rooms, we had the rooms treated as an extra precaution. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and bringing your suspicions to our attention. We wish you all the best in your future travelers." So after thanking the guests for their feedback, we immediately jump into the precautions and steps that we take when a problem like this arises. This gives peace of mind to future travelers that if issues were to arise, are not just being addressed, but they're being resolved. Now, the good news about today's traveler is that they are willing to hear your side of the story, but you have to tell them with the right review response. That is why at Travel Media Group, we believe in helping our hotel partners with every negative review opportunity that presents itself online. Our review response solution is built on the premise that the wrong review response translates to a missed opportunity, and those missed opportunities add up. So does the potential for revenue loss. So, as mentioned before, at this time, I'm going to launch a poll for any hotels that are interested in learning more about turning online reviews into revenue opportunities and learn more about our review response solution. So I'll go ahead and launch this poll now and give everyone a couple seconds to find their toolbar and answer. Now, for those that arrived a little bit later on this call, we are going to be sending out a recording, as well as you can find all of our educational webinars on our YouTube page. And for those that answered any questions as well, I will be following up with you following the conclusion of today's webinar. And for those that do answer yes, we will have someone contact you very shortly. We can even get you started to responding for reviews in this busy summer month starting July 1st. So I'll give everyone just a couple more seconds to find that toolbar. Awesome. So as promised, here is my contact information. If you feel more comfortable reaching out directly to me, it's my direct line as well as email. Really hope you enjoyed today's webinar. We are going to be continuing our educational webinar series next month on July 16th, talking about a Travel Media Group's OneView feed, which manages user-generated content. So your social media messages, all your reviews, all in one consolidated space. So again, I thank everyone for taking the time, and have a fantastic rest of your week.